Meteorologist Casey Cloud live with you from the Weather Center on this Wednesday, tracking some severe weather alerts in play. Had a severe thunderstorm warning to the north there that just expired about 5:15. As we were looking further up, I'll kind of back the map up. You'll see what I'm talking about here. We had that warning there extending through areas like Green Cove Springs, but we still have a flash flood warning there. We have a severe thunderstorm warning further off to the south now. Quite a bit going on, I know. The flash flooding concern is there on Orange Park. They've seen 3 inches of rain there or so in about an hour, and more moderate to, in some cases, still some heavy downpours falling there. It is slacking off some, but a flash flood warning, including Orange Park there. Very busy area, including some of Blandon Boulevard there. Portions of Clay, Duval, St. John's under that till 7:30. So you got to be really careful in toward that area as we're looking. This is down US 17 here with this warning, this green box. A flash flood warning until 7:30 for portions of Duval, Clay, and St. Johns counties. We're talking about areas again, like Orange Park in there, but also even in Jacksonville a bit, Green Cove Springs, Fruit Cove, Plymouth Island, Lakeside, and the Bel Air Meadowbrook Terrace area. So a big storyline there as we're tracking things in toward the weather center. Just gotta be careful with all that precip. I'll see the 1 hour rainfall. Some of these dark gray to light gray areas here kind of tell about 3 inches or so is the story in terms of how much rainfall has fallen. So that's a pretty big storyline there. Obviously, as we're tracking things here, as we give you guys the very latest on what's going on. So again, just gotta be mindful of that here as the situation does evolve. You just gotta be kind of tracking that here as the moments go by. And remember, turn around, don't drown here. Important mantra to go by for sure. So again, we're watching that up toward parts of Clay County there. As we get, further down, we have the severe thunderstorm warning for some wind hazard in here. As we're looking toward areas of the St. Johns River closer and toward, St. Johns, and even does include a little bit of Putnam in addition to Clay. This goes until 5:30. A severe thunderstorm at 5:07 was located over Piccolata, 7 miles southeast of Green Cove Springs, moving southeast at 10 miles an hour. Hastings, Federal Point, Piccolata, Spuds, Elkton, and Bakersville under that. So we're watching that situation, obviously, and you see an advisory toward Suwannee County. We had some rain coming at us around Stark earlier on, and it was starting to slack off as it got closer, toward like the eastern parts of town, especially some of these red areas. So in 2 inches, though, as you get further out in Bradford County, but not really much at all here, east side of Stark, give or take. This just goes to see how things can play out here in these patterns. I know we do have some boundaries now coming in. This could help cool things off, and or sometimes they can still act as a trigger for Storm Axon here in Bradford. We South Sea. This time of year it's always kind of tricky, but we are at 90 degrees here east of Stark, so that could be a storyline to monitor there. As we're tracking things in toward the weather center. Current temperature-wise, you see some of the readings are knocked down because of some of that rain and or the poor air because of the rain in the vicinity. I know we're not going to have a full update late tomorrow or late Friday, but we'll have another one, of course, next week, and if we're breaking down like we are right now, as and if warranted, just coming on here probably for a short bit with this. These warnings popping on up there toward parts, of northeastern Florida. Just trying to give you guys the very latest and all of that. Let me go ahead and check to see what the power outage numbers look like here as we're getting into the Sunshine State. And there are, over 13,000, almost 14,000 customers in the dark. A few thousand of what's in Duval County. Not seeing too much, otherwise locally. A lot of those other ones must be down south. I see Orange County was 5,000. Not sure if that's really weather related. They haven't had any warnings down there, but severe thunderstorm warnings, anything like that. But only a few thousand are in the dark in Duval County here, so that is noteworthy as we're tracking things. Just trying to give you guys the very latest here. I'm trying to keep you guys informed. Just so important, obviously. in these inclement situations. Just try to stay on top of things here with the severe weather warning, in play, with the yellow box for the thunderstorm accident and then the flooding potential, maybe coming into play in over parts of Clay County, especially along Orange Park. So that is noteworthy there as we're looking at things, as we're tracking things here in toward the weather center. Just trying to make sure we're staying on top of everything here. Just we want to make sure that you guys are, really seeing what's going on here, in real time. It's so important to do this, that, obviously. Now, another story we just, it's not really weather related, but we'll just really quickly bring it up here. Thoughts and prayers go out to everybody there with family, friends up there around the Fort Stewart area, just north of our area, those innocent folks, shot in a shooting there today at Fort Stewart. My thoughts and prayers go out to everybody impacted there as we're looking up toward areas there closer toward Hinesville. So, again, not a good situation there, obviously, weather-wise there. You see 86 degrees in toward that area, but thoughts and prayers go out to all the innocent victims and their families, and no fatalities reported there at the last check, though, so that's the good news. Again, just trying to keep you up to date on everything going on here. I'm just trying to monitor it all. Obviously. As we go ahead and bring it back on over toward the local view. We're just seeing here what we're dealing with, what we're tracking. See some of that heavy downpour action kind of clustered here. So this is a pretty rural area, which is what we like to see along the St. John's. A little bit of a hook there. So that does raise a little bit of concern. This is west of St. Augustine by a little ways here right now. As we're looking at things, as we're tracking things, you don't see much at all in terms of rotation though when I go over to the other source. But again, we see some strong action here around Hugh up there to see if that kind of tries to get its act together, that gets a little bit closer toward Bradford County. And we had action coming in earlier on, and it really just faded on out, which was, crazy to see how quick that happened here as we're looking at things, as we're tracking things. So, again, just trying to give you guys the very latest on what's going on here. Just trying to keep tabs on everything, obviously, as the situation evolves, and just try to make sure that you guys kind of see what we're dealing with here. So I know we're all on all the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and YouTube at Clouds Weather, a great source there, obviously. If you want to back up, the video here and see what I've been saying last few minutes even, you can do that over there. So that's really helpful for sure. It definitely is helpful. See if we can get some of the cameras up around Orange Park. I'm going to go ahead and try to take a camera view here. I-295 west between Blandon and US 17. We'll kind of see a live look at the situation there. You can see the gloomy conditions in that shot, in that view. This is something where this area here has already kind of went through a lot of it, but still kind of helps to tell that weather story. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. I see that this severe warning just went away. This is what we like to see. A severe thunderstorm warning to the south went away. Let's see what they said here at 5:23. They said that they're expiring the warning for Putnam and Clay and St. John's. A severe thunderstorm warning at 5:30 as the wind potential is weakened there. Below severe limit and no longer poses an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning will be allowed to expire. We still have the flash flood warning, but a lot of the heavier rain breaking up there. So that's good news. We'll keep watching things. We'll keep tracking things. Things can go from strong to severe, or even from not much to severe very quickly this time of year. So it's always important to stay weather aware. You know, you can get that interactive radar when we're not on cloudweather.com/radar. So that's an important place to go, obviously, as we're tracking things. You know, a place when we're not on the air, you can go to get the latest. You see some thunderstorm action in central Georgia right now, southeast of Albany. They're close to I-75. That's not too far away. You know, and just to the west of Tipton there, you know, in Worth County. Got some lightning there, so whenever thunder roars go indoors, you have some in Hamilton County, same storyline, you know, with thunder roars go indoors. Southeastern Baker, Western Duval, and then Southern Swanee, you know, Lafayette, Hamilton, you know, just we're watching everything here. I mean, kind of giving you that roundup there again. Worth County, Hamilton, Swanee, Lafayette, Baker, Duval, and then we have, you know, some other acts, and we had a warning, Clay, St. John's, Putnam area. So that's going to do it for now. I know we have some thunderstorms towards central Florida as well. They're not in our area. They're non-severe, but again, some lightning there you got to be careful with, obviously. Zooming in real quick here, you see some of that like around St. Cloud. So got to be careful. I know some of these lightning strikes can be really dangerous. You know, sometimes they can, unfortunately, lead to fires and the like even. So you just got to be very mindful of that as we're looking at things and as we're tracking things. So, and obviously, even worse, they can strike folks and cause injuries, or even something worse like what we saw last month in Worth County, southeast Georgia, with those 2 fatalities, you know, those young people. So you just got to be aware of the lightning, you know, very dangerous with that electrical energy around. Even if we don't have warning, still have that flash flood warning remaining, some of those roads could still, you know, have some of those puddles that really are too deep to be trying to drive through, because they could be, you know, pretty significant there in terms of just that accumulation of that water there, where it could make things hard, you know, to keep control of your vehicle, even especially if you have a vehicle that's a little bit smaller and the like. So Orange Park, Fleming Island, that corridor, especially probably more toward Orange Park, is what I'd be watching for that concern for a little bit longer. If you do any questions or comments here, I know we're always trying to keep on top of things, you know, across our 62 counties here. We're just trying to stay on top of the situation here. Throw that coverage map up real quick here for everybody at home. There you go. We're in Bradford, but we're always going for any tornado warning storms across the area, and, you know, select severe flash flood alerts. We're posting about them on Facebook, on Twitter, if we're not already, you know, needing to be, you know, on the air. So that's kind of the storyline there. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. I'll be back here as warranted, if warranted, in the hours and days to come.